Morning. Good morning, Cheryl Tips here. I wanted to jump on real quick. I've been experimenting with Lovable, um, doing some things. I build a lot with Lovable. So I wanted to. Someone had told me that with Lovable, it integrates with oh, I can't hardly say it. Let's go to the dashboard here. That it has MCP integrations. Oh, shoot, let's go to it. Okay, let's move this out of the way and see if we can get it. All right, it has MCP integrations. This is something that came out recently. I've got some of these enabled: Notion, N8N. Here is where I was trying to add Rube. And Rube, if you guys are familiar, is it's the MCP server that connects about 800 different tools. So it's sort of like, I guess, connecting Zapier and stuff. When you build stuff in Lovable, you can connect to those MCP servers through Rube to be able to utilize that stuff. So I also found out that there's a way, if you prompt it correctly, to build a total front and back end stack in Lovable without needing workflows like N8N or Make, that you could actually take those workflow instructions and put them into your Lovable prompt, and Lovable will build that out for you, and you can add the webhooks and you can add your API keys and different things. So I tested it. Let me show you this. I pretty much make a projects folder on everything that I pretty much use repeatedly. I have a Lovable project, and typically what I do, I've got a Gemini voice agent bill. Um, I've got skills, that's Claude skills. So typically what I do is I go and find knowledge bases on the different projects that I'm starting. So with Lovable, I've got all kinds of stuff about MCP integrations, how to prompt Lovable, best practices, um, how to prompt Lovable to be your workflow back end, to build your back end so that you don't need N8N. Um, and so what I did was I got all of this information, I compiled all of this information using Notebook, and I had Notebook just spit this blueprint out for me, and I uploaded it here to Lovable. So then what I did was I came over here and said, and I want you guys to know I'm in the business finance business. That's primarily what I do. Lead generation is a thing, and I build tools for other brokers and so on. This is something that I'm going to be building, that I'm going to be selling to other brokers. This is a $2,500 through $3,500 project easily that I'm going to be selling. But anyway, I prompted it. I said, I want to create a funeral home owner lead gen site where we have the workflow triggered into our Lovable prompt. Instead of using N8N, I'd be interested in using something like Google Maps to get the businesses and somehow enrich those leads with email and other contact info. So I'm telling it what I wanted to do. And Claude went and reviewed the knowledge base, and I showed you guys, showed you the knowledge base. So Claude went and it reviewed the knowledge base. And it said that, solid play. And this is important. It said, let me build you a complete Lovable prompt that handles the Google Maps discovery and contact enrichment all through edge functions. No N8N middleman. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen, that you can now prompt Lovable to build you a complete front end and back end tool, cutting out the middleman. Um, Lovable said, I'm using Hunter.io for the email enrichment and best practices, blah, blah, and all I'll need is my API keys for the Google Places and Hunter.io. So it would be the same thing as if I was building the workflow using N8N, because then what I would have to do is I'd have to take the webhook trigger and feed that into Lovable. I'd have to build everything out in N8N, put the API keys in the proper nodes, make sure the mapping is what it needs to be, and then give the workflow, Webflow trigger to Lovable to build it. So I'm alleviating that. So here's a prompt project context that I got from Claude, gave me the colors. I'm okay with that. Topography, what the layout needs to look like, the component instructions. So I mean, this was just my prompt. This was it. Um, the database schema for Supabase, and I've got Lovable Cloud enabled, so I copied all of this and I fed this whole thing to Lovable. So we're gonna come over here to the project, and we'll come and I'll show you. Okay, this was where that entire prompt from Claude, all of this is huge. I fed all of that into Lovable, and Lovable says, "Hey, I'll build you a site." I have cloud enabled, so it built the back end, modified the database with all of the schema that Claude gave us, and I put in my API keys, and boom, I've got the site. So it told me what was working, and so then what I did was I had to go back and make sure that these edge functions are working. I had to make sure that they were working. But to have the site with everything just ready for me to say, okay, let's turn it on. So I chatted with Lovable, and we came up. I said, I want everything to work that's supposed to work, and so it told me what's working and what's missing. Display search results, blah blah, all of this was missing. So it came up with we chatted with an implementation plan, complete the leads table component, build a lead detail model, implement the CSV import, wire up the search results flow, connect real stats. So I made it live. So we went through I probably had 4 or 5 prompts, this whole thing. So here's the tool here, Lead Gen Pro. And so here it is. And so we're going to log it. It says find every funeral homeowner's email in minutes, search by city, discover businesses, blah, 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 discover, enrich, export. Here's the social proof, ready to build your lead pipeline. So then we log in. Well, let's go back here. So if you don't have an account, you can sign up here. It already created the tables, the user tables and whatnot. So I've already got an account. So I'm going to just log in here. It's loading the dashboard and blah. So without paying or anything, I get 49 searches, 25 enrichments. Here's a dashboard. It shows the total leads, how many were enriched. Well, when I first ran it, these are the leads. It gave me 20 leads in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And these are real companies, guys. These are real companies. Whatever this is, West Cobb Funeral Home. Visit the website. This is real stuff. All right. So what I noticed was that there were no emails. Okay, so I had to go back and prompt Lovable, and we had to turn on some stuff to make sure that we could do email. So I have not ran a test to see if it will generate emails. I was so excited to show you guys this. So I'm going to put, let's just do a test with Orlando, Florida. Click auto enrich all discovered leads. And here's the export to CSV function. So I can click all of those. The leads can be filtered. So you can filter them there, export whatever. So let's do a search. And this is live. I've not run one to see if it came back with the enrichment. We've got the funeral homes here. All right, let's see. Because as long as I've got a website, Hunter.io is supposed to pull the email. So, let's see, actions. Okay, and this is their website, but it did not pull the emails. So we're going to troubleshoot live. We're going to come back to Lovable. Actually, we're going to go to the cloud function. We're going to go to Edge function, and we're going to click on Enrich Leads. Let's view the log. Let's see. So it did not even attempt to enrich. So let's come back here. Um, um, the enrichment still was not done, even though we enabled the button to require that it pull the email info. So I'm going to pause right here while Lovable, I'm going to let you see what it says. So it's, I meant to have click chat so that we don't burn a whole lot. And if you notice, it's working in the new Claude Opus 4.5 that everybody is just going crazy about. So I'm going to pause while it's thinking. Okay, so it said that it added detailed console login to track the auto enrich flow, which I guess that's something I could have done here is see what kind of error that we got, failed to load resource. Don't really see anything. All right, so we're gonna log out here and we're gonna republish the site. And I've got a security scan warning. It's just that the emails, passwords can be leaked. I've got to turn that function off. So I'll go turn that function off before I do anything with this particular site. So let's go back and we're going to sign in. All right, we're going to do auto enrich and we're going to say Macon, Georgia. Hit search. Search complete. Search complete. And it still is not enriching. So let's look at the console. Failed to load auto, toggle to true, starting search, auto enrich skipped. All right, so what I have to do is I have to let Lovable know what the error was. And so now that we can kind of see, we'll come back and we'll go into chat. Here's the console messaging. But so far, so good, guys. Where I'm able to pull this information, I could manually get these email addresses, but I wanted to bring back the emails. So I'm going to get that fixed, and then I'll post a link to the finished product, and you guys can test it out. But hey, this is what you can do with Lovable. So hope this has been helpful.